you know, freeze it if that was still an option, that sort of thing as well. Lettuce is going to be a cool weather crop. Profile, it does have a low profile, you know, which is very good. The concealability or the hideability is very fair, you know, amongst a bunch of weeds and such. Most folks probably wouldn't recognize lettuce unless it was, say, like a iceberg, like a head type lettuce. If it's, you know, the leaf type lettuce, romaine, things like that, most folks might not recognize that. Again, so for watching out for scavengers and such for trying to hide our crops, it's an important thing. Nutrient needs are medium. You know, it doesn't have any super high demands, at least that's not our experience with it. But it isn't very easy in the same token. Seed saving is fair. You'll get seeds off of there. It's kind of like the broccoli, like we showed, for lack of a better term. It raises up a little bit and you know, puts out seed heads from there. And storage, lettuce just doesn't store. So again, you're going to have to use that fresh. Where are we at time? Pause. Next one we're going to talk about, onions. Okay, on our little criteria here for survival gardening and such. Onions, the profile is very low, which is helpful. The concealment or the hideability factor, pretty easy. Again, you know, if you have a bunch of weeds and such there, most people are probably not going to recognize an onion growing amongst some weeds. Excuse me. Nutrient needs, medium. You can grow them with pretty much nothing, but the bulbs will get fairly small. You know, won't get very big. We grow a Vidalia down here in Georgia and that, and you know, it's a fairly high nutrient need onion. Seed saving, it is a 2-year type deal. Again, so you got some time commitment there in that as well too. Storage is pretty decent. You can dry storage onions pretty good. I believe you can also can them, do different things like that as well too. Peas be the next one, and again, this is something that I think, as far as a cool weather crop, is going to be one of our workhorses because it fits a lot of our criteria here. The profile is low to medium, depending on if you let them run up something or not. If you don't have something for them to grow up, they will just sprawl on the ground, usually what we end up doing. The concealed ability or the hideability of pea plant, I'd say it's fair. Most people, if it's in fruit, they're going to recognize it, but if it isn't, you know, again, amongst a bunch of other weeds, especially a viney or a crawly type weed, most people probably won't recognize it. Nutrient needs are pretty low with peas. You can grow them pretty much anywhere. And again, if we inoculate them, any of the legumes, it's going to fix some nitrogen back in the soil for us. Seed savings, very easy. Again, we let the pods dry out. We pop the seeds out. I mean, you could over-explain that and go, you know, with spreadsheets and charts and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's easy enough to do. That stuff works for us. It does from year to year. So making it sound simple, but it really is. If it wasn't, man would have died out thousands of years ago. Where are we at here? Seed saving, easy. Storage is decent, you know, on the peas. Can them, freeze them, use them fresh. You know, dry them out with some of the versions of it, that sort of thing as well too. Peppers, more of a warm weather crop. You know, profile, they have a medium profile. They're, you know, typically your pepper plant won't get any higher than a little less than waist high. Concealability, kind of hard to conceal. Not extremely hard, but again, not most people would probably recognize a pepper plant, and especially a pepper plant with peppers on it. You got to think probably the most widely grown vegetables would be like tomato plants and pepper plants. Why? Because, you know, you go to Walmart or China Mart or whatever, and there's a 6-pack for $4 or whatever. You go and you put them in a planter right outside your door, and you go, oh, look, I got fresh tomatoes and peppers. So most people would probably recognize a pepper plant. Nutrient needs are low to medium. It's the, what's the soaking salts thing that everybody? Epsom salt. Epsom salt. Couldn't remember the name of it. Sprinkle those around the perimeter of your peppers. That'll really help them out a good bit as well too. We've had them produce here as late as November, which we normally get our first cold snap end of October, 1st of November. So it does have some good longevity to it as well. Seed saving, really easy. Bust open the pepper, scoop the seeds out, and spread them out and dry them. Again, I'm making it simple because it is simple. You can overcomplicate it if you want. That's your business. Storage, fairly decent. They'll store just a lot of this stuff like that. You can actually leave on the plant for a few weeks, maybe a month, depending on weather conditions. You take it off, it's going to store around your house for a similar amount of time. You can can it, you can do other things with it as well. Peppers, again, get a plus for multiple harvests from one plant. Potatoes, down here it's a cool weather crop. You normally get it in about February and it's out by May before heat really tears it up. Profile, it's got a very low profile. Practically grows about this high off the ground, that's about it. Concealment, it's pretty easy to conceal or hide potatoes and such. It's an odd looking, the top part is pretty odd looking. Most people probably wouldn't recognize it. And again, amongst weeds and such like that, it'd probably be pretty tough for the average person to spot. Nutrient needs, I would say, are medium. You can put them in and not do anything to them, and they're going to produce something. But they're not going to be the big, by something I mean probably nothing this size. Or at least that's how it works down here. And again, that depends on soil types and everything. But if you want some big tubers, you really need to put some nutrients on the soil. You need to feed it a little bit. Seed saving, very easy. Once the vines die back, you dig the potatoes up. You pick the best ones and you put them in a paper sack, put them in a cool, dry place. Use them again next year, and they'll be fine. Storage on potatoes is great. You can dry store them, root cellar, that sort of thing. A lot of folks, a lot of women will keep them in their cabinets for 6 months, a year before they start sprouting and that. You can can them, you can dry them. As far as that goes, potatoes get a great as far as the storability. And again, pluses for multiple